Convo.
Welcome back to Candid Conversations with Carmen. I'm your host, Carmen, and this is my side host,
Ashley.
and our wonderful producer, T Nugget.
Whoop, whoop.
And we are back with another season of the show. It's season six. Correct. This season 6. I always start off saying, I'm so excited for what this season holds and can't wait to see what's going to come in the future. And to be honest, I am excited, but at the same time, I'm really like, I don't know what this is going to be. I'm like, oh gosh. I do think we've had a lot of growing pains. Every season, I think we've improved. I think if you look back on season 1's audio, because we were only strictly audio, we had some struggle bus episodes, and we had some video on the finale of last season. The video cut out and then it clipped back in. We were like, we've had technical difficulties. So I really think that we're growing and we're stretching and we're expanding so that we can really achieve what the necessary outcome is for this podcast.
Mm-hmm. Even though we might not know what that is.
Correct. That is correct. It's enrichment right now
as
for
God,
ourselves.
as God leads us.
And guides us. It's all truth. So I agree with you on that. So I think, but I am excited, but it's in a different way. Like, I don't feel like, oh my gosh, we're going for another season. I'm happy to come back. It's a good time. We have good conversation, and I'm interested in seeing what our audience likes as well.
Yes, when we think about audience, people think about numbers a lot of times.
Correct.
And I am not necessarily all about the numbers. I'm always like, I hope the conversations that we have is impactful to at least just one. I think that's something that I've said from the very beginning. It's just impacting just one person. Would you like more numbers? I think anybody would, but for most everything, I think, like you said, is enrichment for us, for whatever it may be that we are called to do. It's learning to do speaking. We're doing the audio, the technical, learning about that kind of stuff.
That is true.
Video angles,
all the things.
Like that tilted lens. Look good.
We can't have a that top down angle. What was it, Troy?
You said it.
No, you said it.
No, I repeated what you said.
Okay, repeat what you...
You were like, oh, Troy, you can't have that. That camera angle was terrible. That was just pointed down on you. You could barely see my face. So I said
today you said...
So I said I will tilt it down because the first episode of last season, it was like tilted down on
We
y'all.
didn't look good from a above angle. Is that what you said to us?
Yes, he told us we didn't look good on a tilted angle. That's what he told us right before we got started.
Right.
We had to get ourselves back together so we could be ready for camera.
No, but anyway, we're digressing. But no, I'm excited to be back in a different way.
Yeah.
I really believe that God is doing things in each of our individual lives that we will see. And I think this has been a really good catalog of like growth over time, because a lot of times what you think you were like at a certain point in time is not actually how you were. And if you just have a snapshot of what your conversation or your tone or your thought processes were in the past, then you're able to see, okay, I actually have changed in that area, or nope, I'm still the same.
Yeah.
And so whatever that looks like, but I do, like I said, I'm excited in a different way to see how things go. We have some good guests hopefully coming out this season. Maybe next season we shall see. But on this week's episode, in normal fashion, our producer is now helping us with the topics a little more, so we aren't chaotic, because we were pretty bad season 1, season 2, we really fell off, and then season 3, season 4, we tried to be better. Season 5, I thought we did good.
We were really good.
I thought we did good.
I think we had like maybe one episode where we just
it was late at night and I was exhausted. I was like, let's get this churned out. And then, but this season, he's helping us a lot in that regard. So we have topics that we maybe want to talk about with each other, and then with him as well, and then with our overall audience and our guests. But then additionally, some of those outside topics, T Nugget will be providing us with. So on today's episode, go ahead, T Nugget, kick it off.
So, no, I actually thought about this topic for a minute now because I was just like, me trying to start up a wedding photography business, that whole thing. I was like, oh my gosh, I feel overwhelmed with like having to do all of the different things, and you have to really know about a lot of stuff. Like, you have to get more information on certain aspects of the business and like taxes and all of this kinds of stuff. But going into this new year, and I know the theme of the season is real, like let's be real. Going into your new endeavors and everything, like what is your attitude towards it, like, and your real attitude towards it, like the podcast. I know you've been maybe not thinking about it a lot going into this year, and you're just like, we're here, but like the things that you have planned or the things that you don't have planned, like what's your real thought process on the different things that you have coming up and your attitude towards it?
You go first, Ash.
Well,
Your pause.
I think for this year especially, one of the major things I was talking to you about last year was at the very end when we were on vacation was like being more consistent and being more disciplined in different things. And so in a lot of areas, I kind of looked at different areas of my life where I was not as consistent and not as disciplined, and was like, how can I change those things? So coming into this season of the podcast, really the main thing for me is wanting to have consistency. Like, if we're going to do meetings, if we're going to do all the things that are pre-planning for this portion of our lives, because to me it's our business, then we need to be consistent on it, like the time and everything, just all of it. And so for me, and I'm talking to myself as well, like being ready for stuff. Like, okay, yes, if we're doing a photo shoot, not coming day of and being like, oh, I got my outfit. And then it's not been tested. It hasn't been like, we've already gone through the looks and everything so that we already are prepared. Like, and so that was learning. Like, even in the first 7 days of the year, we have learned.
That's so true. When I saw it was the 7th, I was like, this is a joke. Like,
the first 7 days of the year, like, there's a lot to be learned.
Yeah.
We've come to have some lessons that have been taught to us already in the first 7 days. That is like, okay, you aren't as great as you thought you were. Like, you thought you were doing this, but you're not. And so, like, just even in that, and then like cutting out the distractions. So that's what been a major thing for me, is like the things that have been my distractions. And the Lord asked me years ago to do something, and I didn't want to do it. And I was like, but what about, so let me just do like halfways to get to it. And then, but this year I made the decision to be like, God, I'm going to jump 10 toes down.
Yeah.
And 10 fingers in, and just be all in into all the things. I mean, just all
fully committed,
fully into it.
Yeah.
Even though it's sometimes even still like, I was like, I haven't been fully tested in those areas yet, but even still in the small things, is like separation of like, everybody's not doing what I'm doing. So having to walk this by myself and staying consistent to it, because it's always so easy to like talk myself out of it. But that was the major thing, is that I'm not trying to talk myself out of something or give myself an out. It's, you made this commitment, you did it, and it's not to anybody else but to myself. And that's the thing. I'm always committed to other people and other things, but a lot of times to myself I'm not. And so that's where I'm trying to change it up, is to be committed to myself. And so for the podcast, it's the same thing. I'm committed to it, so let's start like really being consistent in all of it.
That was good and really honest.
Carmen?
I was trying to think for my answer. No,
Don't really think about it.
no, I'm gonna be honest. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not, I'm not having to find an answer so it can be the fake one I can put out there. I want to tell the truth. So I don't think, there are some things, like you said, when you were asking the question, that I maybe haven't put so much thought into it, to be like, oh, what is the for the podcast as a whole or any other endeavors that you have going on in your life. And really what I really want is to really get back to myself. Like, I was just thinking about really months ago, but it's, it comes to head when you're going into the next year or whatever. But months ago, it was being brought to my remembrance. I was like, you know what? I was on it. Like, I'm on it innately on it person. So it's like, how about I don't slip in this area? How about these things are organized? How about this is together? How about I make sure all of these things are going? And I think I went about that in the past the wrong way. So it was the intention behind the action wasn't good. And so it was like, yes, everything is taken care of, or it's in order, or it is exactly what how I think all the cogs need to be moving. But the heart behind my actions wasn't right. And so now I really want to be at a place where, again, I don't think the end result was bad. Like, okay, I'm achieving all of these things. I'm accomplishing all of these things. But I want to accomplish well and be well.
Yes.
So I don't want to just do things and then it's like, oh, I did it for the sake of doing it. And then it's like, but I feel like, what do I have to show for it? And I've been saying that. And Troy's been like, Carmen, you've been saying, what do you have to show for it for years? But that's what I'm saying. That's what you get left with when you do something in the wrong place, like from the wrong place.
Yes.
And so for the podcast and in life in general, I really do want to be more intentional. Like, I want to be intentional about my time. I want to be intentional about what I say. I want to be intentional about what I do. I want to do things with a mindset of now, yes, but the future as well. So it's easy to get caught up in the day to day and then you look up and it's been 3 years since the pandemic. You know what I mean? It's like 2020 now 2024. It's been 4 years, going on 4 years. And it's like, you think back and you're like, how did that much time pass? And these areas of my life look the same. And it's because you really can get into I'm just going to make it. I'm in today. And it's not like I'm living today to the way that the word of God says, to be like, I'm not worrying about tomorrow because it has its own worries, but I'm just going to relax. I just got to kick up. Every day you're relaxing. Every day you're taking a break. Every day you need rest. Like, why are you so tired? And then you think about, why am I so tired? And it's like, I actually haven't done half the things I used to do when my motivation was bad. But I'm now just saying, oh, well, I just need a break. I just need a break because it's a result of our previous burnout. And so I want to be intentional in really every area. I think consistency is something that we have separately talked about in other areas of life. So I think that that's a good thing as well. But I think that intentionality can breed consistency. So it's like, if I'm thinking about, okay, why am I saying I'm going to wake up at 5:30 a.m.? It's always a great idea that I'm going to wake up at 5:30 at 8:30 the day before. But when I stay up to 1 a.m., at 5:30 when my alarm rings or the Lord wakes me up according to my prayer request, and he wakes me up and I don't actually get up because I'm like, what am I going to do? I'm going to be up alone. I've still got time to read my Bible when I wake up at 8 and begin my work shift. It's like, what have I, so really thinking about, what am I even asking for?
Yeah.
Why? What am I actually going to do if I get up at that time? If that's what the Lord's saying, you need to get up at that time. It doesn't matter if I know why I'm getting up. My butt needs to be up.
Yeah.
And so being intentional, I think again, in intentionality, I want to think of God the way he deserves to be thought of. Like, consider him the way he deserves to be considered. Like, a lot of times I think, I personally can't speak for nobody else, I think a lot of times I get into I'm living my life, God is there, thank you, Lord, thank you, Jesus. But you do things, or I'll do things, and it will just be like pointless. It's like, if you just go and you just watch a TV show, you binge watch 17 TV shows. Y'all know what? I had my Hulu free trial. I've been binging. I'm binging all of these shows and I'm watching all of this stuff. And it's like, okay, where's God in the mix of me doing these things? Like, I know he's there conceptually, but like, am I actually thinking like, oh, does God like this show too? Because if I turn it on, he got to watch it the same time I do? Like, you know what I mean? Am I thinking like that? And so I'm like, those kinds of things, like being mindful of like, and actually, again, intentionally thinking like, where is God in my life and in my actions and in what I'm doing and in what I'm saying? Am I just saying good things and then doing nothing? And so I think for me, it really is intentionality as just one breakdown. But I think that is the root that can spring up a lot of different things out of it.
And I agree. I think that's where I'm saying with the consistency, because I think for me, the majority of it was that even like with my time with God, like a lot of the time we say we don't have enough time, but the time we have is wasted time. If I'm sitting and I'm on my phone playing a game, could I be reading my Bible then? Could I be praying then? Could I be striving to be closer to God in these moments?
Right.
And or reading something that is a commentary, something that is bringing me closer to him.
And I think even sometimes, not to cut you off, but I think even sometimes is, yes, I'm filling in the time with the Lord in those downtime moments. And I think that's beautiful. And I think you should. But I don't necessarily even think that it's like the Lord is saying every single wasted moment should have been always just mama. Could be him saying, pick up a book instead of turn on the TV.
Yeah, no, most definitely. But what I'm saying is that when you start removing those distractions out, because we talked about this, because I told you I was removing all these distractions, and the initial thing, and I think the fear of the enemy was to say I was going to have too much time. What does that even mean? How too much time? That's a blessing. Like if you have open time, but to have free time to do different things and to spend, and even in cutting out a lot of the distractions that were Facebook, social, Instagram. Not that I was even on those that much, but fictional reading, YouTube videos, YouTube shorts, all of them, watching TV, all those things that were the distractions for me.
Yeah.
Not saying it was distractions for anybody else, but those were distractions for me, have made me be able to, I think I've read, 4 or 5 books in 7 days.
I think that's a bit like a lot, because you read fast. Like the average person will be like, "Woo, that 7 day I'm on my first book."
But I've listened to some books too, like on audio tape. So I'm listening to books on audio tape. I'm reading books as well. So I've listened and read over about 7 books in that time frame of 7 days.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. And can you keep that up? Is what I feel.
And that I've been reading my word and watch. And the thing is, no, I most definitely can keep it up. It's not something that's just, but I have more time. I've spent more time with y'all, just talking and being in the kitchen and doing everything.
You'll be popping up and I'll be like, this is my alone time. She's like, and another thing.
But I have so much time. And then like I'm working out a lot and I'm doing a lot of different things. So it's like, all this time is coming up, and then there's other things projects and things that I'm going to be working on as well that I'm working into my schedule. But it's a lot of things. But I'm like, God is giving me this time, and it's showing me that those things have their place. But a lot of time we give them way more space than they're actually supposed to take up. And so that's where I am now, and it's also balance and learning balance in that. Because now I'm also not in school right now. So that gave me a month off as well. So that's also where some of my free time is as well, because I'm off.
For a brief second, I thought you said you like quit school. I was like,
after all that work, she's like, I've given that up. You're like, what?
that would be heartbreaking to me because I'm a year out from graduation. So that would be like, y'all, that would be really devastating if I had just quit. Then y'all need to be asking me like, what is happening?
And if you dropped the news on the podcast and he didn't know, that would be the really crazy part. Like you hadn't previously discussed it.
Yes.
So
what about you, Troy?
I thought he shared.
Yeah, I shared a little bit at the beginning. I don't really know how much more I can really go into depth. I still just have a lot of stuff I don't know about. Can ask other people for help on.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I feel like I be annoying people. I be like...
Annoy them.
Yeah.
Because I was just...
Annoy them. Because the thing is that if... you don't want to burn bridges, but if someone says, I'll help you, ask me questions, do that. Take them up on that offer. Because take people at what they are telling you. Because what you are doing is like, oh man, I'm getting on your nerves. I don't want to make somebody upset or annoy them or bother them. But once you know what you need to know, you're always willing to share your wealth of knowledge.
Well, the thing about it is, it's not even like wealth of knowledge. It's like I'm in the like do kind of thing, and I'm like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and then I'm like, if you're here, I want you to be able like in the loop, and I'm trying to like do all these different things, but I don't want to be just moving ahead.
What do you mean?
Yeah,
I don't know what that means.
Can you explain all that a little bit more?
So y'all know I've been working on a bunch of different projects and things, and a lot of these things are with other people and stuff. Well, y'all know my life situation right now. So y'all know I am doing a lot of stuff within those times. Like I'm working on this, that, and the other, and I don't always want to just be bombarding people with like different things.
When it's on the primary focus on your mind at that time.
Yes. And I don't want to just be like, oh, hey, I've done this thing for this project, and I've done this thing for this project, and just kept like throwing stuff at people when I'm like, they have lives too. They have things that they have to handle and things like that, even though I'm just doing it. And I don't want to be like the one that just seems like I'm hitting somebody over the head with everything.
Well, if you know that they're working with you on that, if you're getting your portions of it done, it doesn't matter if you've done it early or whatever. You can still send it to them and be like, hey, I've got this done. I finished this part of it. It's not really annoying because they still have their time frame. Now, if y'all haven't agreed on a time frame of when they'll get it back to you, then you just wait on their time frame to get you their stuff back. And you can keep churning your stuff out and keep pushing it forward. And, maybe ask for feedback just so you're not doing stuff. And then they come back and saying at the last minute, I hate that, you need to go and redo it. Then it's like, but not on the same day that you sent it. Like you send it, you let somebody have some moments, and then the next day or 2 days later be like, hey, did you by any chance get a chance to look at that stuff that I sent you for our project?
Even if like I'm gonna have to send, I'm like, 'cause a lot of times what will happen is, because you are doing so many different things, the time when you have it on the center of your mind, like it's like I'll be at work and you may want to talk about the podcast. And I'll be like, because it's on your mind at that moment. And you're like, I want to have this conversation. Let's go ahead and have the meeting right now. And I'm like, well, I actually have another meeting that is actually for my job that I can't have this meeting with you right now. But when it's on the forefront of your mind, you're like, we need to do content planning. We need to do all these different things. If you know that, what you can do is do the things you can do. And then make a list, because a lot of times it's that fear I'm going to forget, or the fear I'm going to not do, or something that I thought of, I'm going to lose. So it's like, oh gosh, I need to do it. And then I'm going to forget that thing. So I've got to do it right now. Write it down. If you need to do a content planning day, literally write the person's name that you need to ask for it from on a sheet of paper, a tablet, put it in your phone, put it on your Teams calendar, whatever you have. And then you put the list of everything you need to discuss with that person, or what you need from that person, and then bullet point so you have a general idea of what each one of those items will entail if they don't have the appropriate time. If you made the list and it's 14 things on it, and you're like, that's ridiculous for me to text somebody or call them or be like, hey, can we break it up? Send them 3 today, 4 tomorrow, 5, and be like, hey, I'm gonna be sending you things periodically. Some stuff is popping into my mind. If that's an issue, let me know. And I can send it to you all in a document, or I can do, so that way it doesn't feel like you're bombarding them all at once. 2 is, okay, I've gotten it off my mind so I can still feel like it's in progress. And then 3, it's appropriate and it's minding everybody else's time.
Mm-hmm. And I know for me, because I'm that person that I'll get up super early. I'm an early person. So, and I was talking about doing like chores and stuff. Like the most times that I feel ready to get started is when nobody else is like, so at 5:00 in the morning, 4:30 in the morning, I'll be up and I'll be going about my day and going to the gym or doing whatever. And that's the time when I want to vacuum. That can't be when I can't be vacuuming at 4:30 because people sleep. So, but those type of things that come into my mind at 4:30 in the morning, I'll be up and I'll be like, man, this would be the perfect time to vacuum the hallway and the steps. I can just get all of that done, taken care of, and I'll be good to go. When I get back, and I know because in the evening when I get home, I'm not going to want to vacuum the steps or do whatever I got to do with it. Just one of the things. So in those thoughts, I just say, you know what, I'm going to have to force myself to do those things or wait to the period when people are more appropriate time to do those things. So like, I know it's not the same as bombarding somebody with annoying things, but when those thoughts come to me, or I'll write them down and say, this is my to-do list. And I'll put the priority of what things actually have to be done today and what things can be wait till another day. So I'll get like the first 4 or first 3 things checked off of my list. And if I can do that, then I'll get it. And if I need to go talk to somebody, because I'm quick to be at somebody's office. Hey, can I talk to you? And I'm like, I don't know if you're busy right now, but I have this. And I'm like you. I'll just be like, it'll come to me and I jump up from my desk and be like, hey, and they people be doing stuff. And I'm like, I hope I'm not messing with them in the midst of their work, but I need to know this for mine. And I was like, if I'm bothering you, I can come back. And if they say this is not the right time, I'll write it down or I'll send an email. So I'll first try to contact them that way. And then I'll do it a different way. Send a text, say, hey, are you busy or whatever. And that allows me to be able to flow because my mind be moving, especially if there's something that's pressing and I have so many questions. And then sometimes I be feeling like my questions be stupid, but I be like, let me still ask them because, they can just be like, girl, that's dumb.
There's still a question in your mind and it closes the gap for you.
Yes. And and they'll be like, it's dumb. And I'll be like, oh, really? Why? And then they can tell me why it doesn't make sense. And then we can walk through it.
Yeah, I agree. I think being mindful of people, like what you're trying to do, but then also being mindful of yourself. Mm-hmm. So you're like, okay, finding, again, like Ashley said in her, when she was talking about her consistency is finding balance, is really what is appropriate. And things can also be different depending on the relationship. Mm-hmm. So you have projects you're working on, and then you have your business that you're working on. That's a totally different relationship than your business relationship, because the projects we're deciding to collaborate together, 2 separate businesses coming together in a joint venture. Then your business is also a collaboration, but it's really more so 2 individuals that are under the same company umbrella, and we are working towards the same consistent goal. We need to either have a standing meeting. We need to have, a consistent phone call that's weekly, bi-weekly, quarterly, whatever that looks like, 2 different things. So being mindful of, 1, what you want, mindful of who you're working with and what they want, and then the nature of the relationship for what each project requires. If it's the project, if it's the business, if it's a collaboration, if it's a photo shoot, if it's whatever that looks like, so that for this fits in this box, this fits in this box, and this fits in this box. So that way you don't have that like uncertainty. Oh gosh, am I bothering you? To be honest, you fit into my reach out to you whenever box. So hey, are you bothered? Sorry. Or hey, you fit into my 5:30 to 6:30 box. I should have never reached out to you at 7. Mm-hmm. That was on me. I'm sorry. I don't expect a response until the following day or the following week, because I was out of line within the confines of that relationship. So I think it's good if you define those things in your mind, and then you make sure that the people that you're working with are aligned with that. And then you essentially eliminate the confusion that could otherwise come into play.
And set priority to whatever it is that you send it. Does it even make sense to send it? Like, even if you do have the thought, write it down, make note of it. Is this a priority, or is this can be something that's a next week thing?
Yeah, because sometimes, like, when we were going on our trips, I'll be like, ooh, like, I'll start looking at it and I'm like, the flights can get us here. And y'all will be like, that's not for another 7 months. Why are we discussing this? Why are we looking at this? You know, you don't have to book everything tonight.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, yes. But while it's on my mind, I'm laser focused on that thing. And then when it gets off my mind, don't ask me about it. Don't talk to me about it. It's not on the forefront. So I think it's dependent on what the thing is, who you're dealing with, and the nature of that relationship.
Yep. That's it.
All right. Oh, gosh, we're done. Okay, cool. This is a mini one. Or a straight one.
It's just a regular.
Oh, okay. So no, I just had to double check. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into this first episode. I think it's just a quick little kickoff where we are, where we want to be, and then we can follow up and see where we are as the weeks progress, as each episode goes on, as the seasons continue.
And being real. And let's be real, y'all.
Thank you. See you in the next one.